Hello there everybody, so Bonner Knight and welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. Well, where we last left off, a little bit of blood got on Giselle's face, and I also discovered some horrifying secrets from the backlog. I feel like the answer to the true owner of the mansion is basically slapping me in the face repeatedly. But, from what I understand now, or at least what I could decipher, is that what we're seeing aren't really the actual memories from what I'm seeing right now, I guess. Anyway, one of you guys told me that there's really only one thing left in the backlog that I have to keep an eye out for, supposedly. So I will try to do so. Anyway, let's begin the blood of the witch. The collapse of their happiness came slowly, gradually. Perhaps it was because she had touched his blood instead of his skin, but the deterioration of the white-haired girl's health crept along at a relaxed pace. The life was not sucked out of her in the blink of an eye, as it had been from the bandit. She merely grew progressively less and less healthy. Amidst her physical decay, she was bestowed with one blessing. Her beauty remained untouched. But as far as blessings went, surely there were others she could have been granted. Could God have not picked something a little better for her? By the time the two of them realized what was happening, it was already too late. The white-haired girl had grown so weak she could hardly leave her bed. Yes? Oh, you are there. I am. Thank goodness. I can't see very well anymore. Can't see. How could this happen? I thought I had saved you. But no. I did the exact opposite. I'm just because I can. Yeah, I expected as much. I know it's a little early, but I just wanted to look. Please don't talk that way. You did save me that day. But you're on the cusp of death now. And it's my fault. Because of this curse I bear. How could this happen? Why did this have to happen? What am I? Why was I given this body? Michelle, can I, ask you a favor? Go ahead. Stay with me, please. As much as you can, until the very end. I was going to do as much anyway. Thank you. I'm happy, Michelle. Happier than I have ever been. And I mean that. You didn't just save my life. You saved me. I've been saved. But only me. I wonder how he'll handle things when I'm gone. If only I hadn't opened the door that day. I wouldn't be leaving him all alone. And we could be happy together for even longer. Yes? Would you please hold my hand? I think it's probably safe now. I will not. I cannot touch you. If I do, I might take what remains of your life. Take your beauty away, and force you to die hideous. I cannot touch you. Whoa! Wait, is this it? That was 4 minutes, that was it! Hold on. Wait. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa! Dark. It's dark. How long has it been dark here? How long have I been in this darkness? It's so cold here. Freezing. Where? Where could she have gone? Where could she... Giselle. Yes, her smile shines so bright it can cast away the darkness. I must take her hand. She's been calling for me. For so long. Take her hand. But I'm cursed. That would kill her. No. This is all a lie. Oh! And here it her. On his way back from the washroom several days later, Michel heard muffled voices. Hey, got it. Kill him good. He was having trouble making out what they were saying, but he could tell it was several men and they were outside the front door. The fact that he could hear them at all through the heavy door meant they were probably shouting quite loudly. An indescribable sense of uneasiness came over him. Dread. He drew nearer to the door and focused on the voices on the other side. They grew clearer, enough for him to make out what the men were saying. Everything's in place. We're ready to kill this witch now. This is definitely the place. That half-dead bandit said she was in this mansion. Oh. Listen well. No matter what we find in there, we kill it. It could be a child for all I care. That doesn't change anything. Kill the witch. Kill the witch, kill the witch, kill the witch! What he heard beyond the door was a group of men shouting for the death of the witch. Let's look up again here. I cannot help but want to take a look again. Okay, never mind. Really, I guess that was it. Okay. Well, these guys are assholes. In that moment, Michel regretted his decision to let the bandit go free and not watch over him until the moment of his demise. He must have made his way down to the village in search of help, where he revealed what he had found at the mansion. Damn it! But it was too late. Regret would solve nothing. He could neither stop the villagers from raiding the house, nor could he stop the white-haired girl from dying to the effects of his curse. He was helpless to do anything. The gears of his fate had locked him onto a path of tragedy and were turning mercilessly onward. The men had begun trying to break down the door with what sounded like a battering ram. While the first strike was not enough to breach the barrier, it was still quite powerful. He was certain it would not hold for long. Michel's mind raced. Was there anything he could do about this predicament? How could he escape from the corner he had been backed into? Despite his possessing inhuman powers, he would be powerless against a full mob of adult men. The villagers almost certainly came armed as well. Michel? A weak voice came from behind him. Aghast, he spun around to find the white-haired girl stumbling toward him. She breathed heavily, leaning against columns for support. What are you doing out here? You'll only worsen your condition by exerting yourself. I had a sinking feeling, and I heard noises on my way here. It seems that I have brought all my misfortune upon you. Don't say that! If I hadn't come here, this never would have happened. You never would have been in any danger. Please, Michel, hand me over to the men outside. Absolutely not! I will do no such thing. They're here for the witch, aren't they? I'm guessing they're the same people who were chasing me before. The village had a poor harvest this year, I hear. Like the village in the legend. And they believe it's the witch's curse. But you're not a witch! They need someone to fill the role, though. So please, hand me over. And then escape on your own. I could never. Please, Michel. I'm the one who's cursed, not you! And you want me to hand you over? What would I have left then? Nothing. Not a thing. I would have nothing. After so long, I finally found someone who isn't afraid of me, who won't run. I have no interest in a world that would take you away from me, making me live alone once more. To hell with such a world. Michel. Would you be willing to die with me?
If that's what you wish, then stay with me until the very end. I probably wanted to hear that just as much as him. Hold on.
Yeah, I guess that was the last thing that I was able to see. I'm still gonna look the backlog, even though it's probably gonna annoy you guys, but...
No, not probably. I did. I wanted to have someone at my side as much as him. It's so lonely not having anyone. To live alone, to die alone, to not have anyone watching over you, for no one to even know you're dead. I simply wanted someone to tell me they're here for me, to be there, to hold my hand. How wonderful that would be. The sense of utter relief it would bring would be enough to cast away all the pain, to allow me to accept all our suffering. So please, tell me you'll...
Michelle and the white-haired girl chose to spend their final moments at the top of the observation tower. They could hear the crash of the battering ram against the door, the shouts of the men and their stomping feet. But despite all that, the ray of light shining through the little window was as beautiful as always. The room's air of serenity remained unimpeached. After the long climb to the top, the white-haired girl was terribly out of breath. Michelle considered several times offering her his hand, but the possibility that doing so might rob her of her last scraps of life would stay at his hand. It sounds like they broke down the door. I'm glad we made it up here when we did.
I'm so sorry for asking this of you.
Don't be. I would have chosen here for my final moments as well. This is the one place in this mansion with any sunlight. The one place I can get a good look at you.
Thank you. I'm truly glad that I was able to end up here. That I was able to meet you. More than anything that you said you cared about me. Have I managed to become an essential part of your life?
Do you even need to ask? I wouldn't be here otherwise. I feel the same way as you. I'm sure of it.
The two of us are more similar than you probably care to admit. Can I ask you one more thing?
Go on.
Would you embrace me? If this is to be the end, if this is to be my last chance, then I don't want to end it without having been able to touch you. Please don't refuse me this, Michelle. Just do it, please.
I won't keep you waiting long.
Thank you.
The truth is, I always wanted this. I dreamed of being able to hold you.
I dreamed of it too. Thank you. I'm so very...
She's still so beautiful. What a cruel joke. Could you not have given us some other miracle? One that would allow us both to survive? Where are you? Where'd you get off to? I can't find her, damn it! Hey, there's some stairs over here. They lead up! Beneath the single ray of light, the white-haired girl lay completely still. Not even a frail sigh escaped her closed lips. She remained as gorgeous as ever. It was as though she had simply fallen asleep in the sunlight. Looking down upon her, Michelle determined to do one thing. I will not allow anyone to sully this sight. He gave a fleeting glance back at her pristine corpse, then opened the door and stepped through it alone. He would protect that room where she lay. Oh dear Jesus. Hey, there's someone up there! So this is where you've been hiding, you infernal witch! Wait, that's not the girl! The raucous sound of their footsteps rang up from below. Shortly thereafter, the men themselves came into view. As he had expected, they were heavily armed. He glowered at the men, then sucked in a deep breath and shouted at the top of his lungs.
I am the witch you seek! I have inherited her curse, and it is I who brings calamity upon you! You hear that? But he's a... man or woman, it doesn't matter. Death to anyone who has ties to the witch. Cleanse this earth of all impurity. Kill him, kill him, kill him!
Michel did not flinch at the sight of the men. He stood unyieldingly between them and the door. He did not flinch when they raised their weapons against him, nor when they pierced his body.
Die and take your curse with you! I have no need for this life any longer. It's all yours. I am cursed to kill even that which I wish to protect. But at the very least, I can protect one thing before my life is done. Not even one of you will leave this place. Wither and die by my curse.
The blood spilling from his skewered body flowed down the stairs, down and down like a little river, soaking the feet of every single man who had stormed the mansion. This was the last thing he saw before the final grains of life slipped between his fingers, which brought a faint smile to his lips.
What?
Neither of them had expected what happened next, though, for God has a most twisted sense of humor. The white-haired girl had not miraculously passed away without being robbed of her beauty.
Why am I still alive?
She had rather not passed away at all. Quite cruel of him, was it not?
Michel? Where have you gone, Michel? Michel. I smell blood.
For had he allowed her to die, she would not have been made to witness the scene that awaited her.
No, no.
And I'm sure you know just what it was she laid eyes upon in that moment. The ravaged corpse of her beloved. A torrent of blood streaming down upon the spiral staircase, and the sickening stench it raised.
No, why?
And his was not the only body. The villagers who had assaulted the mansion had been subjected to his curse, the life drained from their withered shells.
Why did this... Michel, why? Why am I the only one still alive?
That is a question I cannot answer either. Perhaps his curse did not affect those he loved, as terrible, cruel as that might be. I cannot say.
Why? You said we would go together. A world without you has no meaning.
Had she actually expended her life there in the room at the top of the tower, perhaps this tale could have had a happy ending. She would have at least been able to have the man she loved at her side until the very last moments upon this earth. But that was not what had transpired. She had survived, been left utterly alone. I felt a profound pity for the miserable girl, so I called out to her.
Oh! Oh my God!
Would you like to see him once more?
What?
I have the power to help you meet him again.
Who's there? Where are you?
You know what they call this mansion. So who do you suppose remains on these grounds?
No way. You're from the legend. You actually exist.
Now I asked you a simple question. Would you like to see him again?
The witch grants people's wishes, but at a price. I said I wouldn't ask for her assistance if I met her, but that's all changed.
Oh! Wait. Wait. Reincarnation. She and her beloved are constantly reincarnated. However, they end up meeting with tragedy. Is that it? For the price of being able to be reunited with her beloved, they are constantly reincarnated only to end their lives in tragedy.
Now that I've lost him, if it's truly possible, then yes, I want to see him. Bring him back to life.
Regrettably, I cannot directly meddle with the forces of life and death. However, I can guarantee you this. Your reconstruction.
Reconstruction?
Correct. To ensure that you remain as yourself in future lives and are not reborn as someone else, your body and mind shall be reconstructed, as shall his. If you sincerely wish to reunite with one another, if you genuinely need each other in your lives, you will eventually meet again. All I can promise you is eternal reconstruction. What you make of it is up to you. You want to see him again, don't you? You want to hear his voice again, don't you? You want to feel his hand on your cheek once more, don't you? If that's what you want, then you must remain who you are. If you are simply reborn, that wouldn't be you. So there wouldn't be any point, would there?
Me as I am, and he as he is.
Make up your mind quickly. I will not wait long.
I want to see him again.
As you wish, sweet little girl. I shall grant you both eternal reconstruction, and pray with all my heart that you can attain true happiness.
Oh my god!
Shortly thereafter, the white-haired girl took her own life. She decided she had nothing to gain by remaining in the present time, and that in order to reunite with Michelle, she needed to make her way to her next life. And thus, the mansion was left bereft of a master, to travel slowly through the gauges until someone came along to give it life once more. Achievement, Misty Manor. Oh my god! Kind of reincarnation, but not really! But an unfathomable amount of time has passed, and the two have still yet to reunite. Have they, Master? You know who you are, do you not? You remember everything, do you not? You were present in every single era. The reason for which it is as I described in the previous tale, because you yearned to be reunited with someone. But that person never showed up, in any era. And poor, sweet you, having no memory of any of that, lived those lives with other men. Is it any surprise misfortune befell those eras then? The door swung closed, but rather than outside, you and the maid were inside the dull monochrome room at the top of the observation tower. The awe-inspiring ray of light shone not through the lone window high upon the stone wall. Wrapped in a curious impenetrable darkness, you both stood alone in the room. The maid wore a gentle but brittly cold smile as she looked straight at you. It is not your fault misfortune befell you. The only force to blame for that is fate. You were always so kind, so pure of heart. You had boundless trust for others and the goodness of people. You are the very image of all that is right. And there is no greater misfortune than someone as pure and beautiful as you, being mercilessly thrown into the grinding gears of tragedy again and again. I still pity you for everything you had to go through. You poor, poor soul. You must be utterly exhausted, constantly betrayed, the man you were waiting for never appearing. After so long, your spirit worn down to the bone, you lost envy and all of awareness of who you even were. Who were you hoping to find wandering into this illusory mansion, cut off from the real world? You and I are the only ones here. The man you seek is nowhere to be found. Have you still not figured it out? Then allow me to tell you everything.
No, I already figured out who I am. Thank you.
I am the cursed witch Morgana. Yep. Who haunts this mansion. And you are the tragic plaything of fate, the white-haired girl named Giselle. Did my calling you master confuse you? If so, then I apologize. My habit of calling the master, or mistress, of the house, master, is quite deeply ingrained. And yes, that means precisely what you think it does. That I have accepted you as my new master. That I wish for you to remain here. To stay with me. So let us put an end to this journey. Do not worry. There's nothing to fear. We are simply going to step outside the river of time. Nothing unpleasant will ever happen to you again. I will be here with you for all eternity, and I will give you my utmost care. You will not have to wait for anyone. Forget about him, the man you once sought, and I am sure you shall find happiness. Please, do it for me. I've been waiting for you for so very long. I've wanted nothing more than to see you again. But you are continually stolen away from me, despite my sincerest desire to spend my days with you. Which is why I wanted you to recall everything, for surely you would not willingly repeat the same fate, if you knew all the pain it has caused you to suffer this far. Spend eternity with me, in the gentle embrace of darkness. The maid extended her hand for you. Her fingers brushing up against yours were as cold as ever, but her breath tickled your skin pleasantly, and her sweet words rang in your ears, filling you with warmth. You thought back on your time with her in the mansion. She had indeed always treated you with great compassion, and nothing she had said seemed to be a lie. And so you pondered. What were you to do?
Oh boy, here's what we're going to do. We are going to save.
Okay. The memories were clearly fabricated. Something is not right, obviously. Like I said, some of the memories were clearly fabricated. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't check the backlog. Not to mention there were some things that just didn't seem right the entire time. As much as I do want to, trust you, Morgana, I probably shouldn't. I've had enough dealings with witches to know that some I really can't trust. They're quite good actresses, actually. I'm thinking I'm going to go... I think, for right now, I want to see what... There's still more to be done. I think I'm going to go with this option first. See what happens. Wait a minute, what the... The title of my game just changed. No, okay, it originally said The House in Fata Morgana, but now it just changed to Casting Off the Fog. Okay. Something seemed off. Not only with the story she had just told, with her, and with you yourself. Assuming everything she had said was the truth.
Which or not, my mind is made up.
Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real, very much so. It is not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch is me. That's right. It wasn't the white-haired girl who had claimed to be the witch. And that wasn't all. All you mean to reclaim... Oh, for God's sake, I forgot what voice I was going with. All you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that. A fabrication. I guess it's a good thing I looked at those. None of your questions had been answered. You still didn't know who the painting was, or what had taken place so long ago that caused the mansion to summon people to it. You didn't even know who you were, for that matter. There was still more to be done. You had to find the truth. You needed to find someone. That much was certain. But was the story the maid had told correct about whom? And if it was... what about her? What about the woman whose name you couldn't say? The woman who had so cheerfully called you master?
We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. It's just the beginning after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty of enough time to get to know each other now.
There are too many unanswered questions.
You must say her name. You must take her hand. You must make her smile once again. You mustn't reclaim your own self. It's dark. Dark. It's dark. It's dark again. It's dark. 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 Constantly. Constantly engulfed in darkness. You threw it away every single time. I must break out of this darkness. I'll give you a world that's not cruel to you. I must escape and take her hand. Because that's the reason. Oh, I've got a wonderful idea. I can't hear. You can curse them with me. I must return. I must reclaim. We can think of new ways to torture them. We'll all be happier if you stay here. Just think about it. Stay here in this world. You'll be right at home. No! I did the best I could for you. Nothing more. This is not where I belong. No matter how much a world of darkness may suit me, you'll never be able to do it. I must reclaim my true self.
Oh! Reclaim yourself!
This is brilliant. Do you have any idea how terrible a decision that is? Do you have any idea why I fabricated that story? It was all for you. So stay here. Stay right where you are. The darkness suits you better.
Reclaim yourself!
Remember what someone told you not long ago. That you could handle the stories because they weren't your own. That you were able to bear the tragedies because they happened to others. If that had been your suffering, if the secrets you had kept buried away for so long had come out, you couldn't possibly have endured it.
Reclaim yourself!
But you're a sharp one. I'm sure you intend to keep those secrets tucked away forever. Do you really think I'm going to let you do that, though? Whatever you try to hide, I'll make sure your beloved hears every last detail. How foolish can you be? Despite all my encouragement, you still insist on getting your old self back. What do you have to gain from that? Nothing but filthy, ugly tragedy awaits you down this path.
I'll reclaim myself!
Don't get your hopes up, my dear. There's nothing for you there. You have nothing. I'm offering you a place by my side. You should just take it. There is no salvation for you anywhere. None. At all. Anywhere. From anyone. Ever.
I'm reclaiming myself!
She has long since lost all grip on reality. And you think there's anything you can do for her now? Despite having repeatedly failed to even regain yourself? I'm gonna reclaim myself, damn it. Well, I suppose if you're going to be so stubborn, as much as I don't want to, I have to place.
A curse on your soul!
That's right. The white-haired girl was never at the mansion.
The white-haired girl was never at the mansion. Oh!
There is still a story left untold.
What?
The fourth door was all a lie.
What do you mean?
It was not some sweet little tragedy.
The story you told was pure fantasy.
No, that was the truth. That was where it all began. Because of what happened then, you spent innumerable years lost. Until you showed up here and... What?
You reach out, grasping for it. You pull yourself in. Your silhouette, which has been hazy until now, begins to take form. Your mind, your consciousness, your heart, your soul, and your body.
Who are you?
The veil in your mind dissipates.
A crack forms in the shell encasing you.
Then another.
The invisible shackles chaining your spirit fall to the floor.
Reality fades in atop to the indistinct foggy world around you. Bony fingers appear before your eyes. Long hair. Your voice. No. My voice. My body. My fingers. My arms are frail and my joints weak. But despite my resemblance to the white-haired girl, I am not her. This is who I am.
I have finally reclaimed myself.
You weren't waiting for the white-haired girl.
You were waiting for me. And that's exactly why I came here.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have always waited for the white-haired...
There was never a white-haired girl. There was only...
This time I must say her name. She is... Giselle. There was only you.
I am... Giselle? No. I am not Giselle. I am a servant of the house. And I am the witch, the cause...
You are not a witch. The witch is someone else. Why do you insist that you're the witch? What changed you so much?
Oh.
The shadowy figure in the master bedroom. That was her. A glimpse into her past. I'm sure this is Giselle, but why is she so different? What happened to the spark she used to have? Where did the light she once shone upon the world go? I have to remember. I must remember. This cannot end until I have. This is no longer a story. No. What I need to face is my past. And her heart. She was not even present in the story she made up. Everything about it had been changed. The past I lived and the wounds she bore were more grounded in harsh reality, not wrapped in a film of fairy tale magic.
That was the final tale, and it was all true. That's how it happened. It was a bittersweet story.
No. How can you not see this?
Yes, it was a beautiful tragedy. But was there even a scrap of humanity in it? Behind the 3 preceding doors, there had been a constant thread of ugliness and conflicting motivations. But there was hardly a trace of that behind the 4th door. The characters felt like nothing more than characters. Is that what you want to turn it into? Is that what you want our history to become?
Our history? But I don't remember anything at all.
You don't remember anything?
No, I don't want to. I don't need a past or a future. All I have left inside me is uncertainty.
Giselle.
No, that's not... That is not my name! Please stop trying to confuse me! I'm fine with things the way they are. If it means I don't have to hurt, that's all I want. So please, just let me keep being the maid. Let me keep being a guide, not some foolish girl.
Is that what she honestly desires? Does she want to cast aside her past for good? If so, then... Oh my. I was not expecting this. Sorry, Giselle. We're going to make you remember. No matter what she says, I know I'm right. And if she doesn't reclaim her old self, I'll never get to hear her say my name again. I know I'm being selfish here, but I can't do that. If you're afraid of what you might find, we can remember together. I haven't gotten everything back yet myself, so let's open the real door together.
There are no other doors to open.
But there is. One that can only open by our hands, because it exists between the two of us. Not a door with a physical form, but the door to your heart.
The door to...
I grasp her unnaturally cold hand, a hand that long ago once had warmth. If she can't lead the way, then I have to. I must pick up the pieces of our erased history so we can both reclaim ourselves. Find the actual truth. No matter what we may uncover, I will not let go of this hand. No, I mustn't let go of it. Oh my god! Holy shit, this is... Oh my god. Ugh. I'm gonna say it again. I freaking love this freaking novel so far. Darkness falls over the world around us. The floor upon which we had been standing flickers out of existence, sending us dropping into an endless abyss. This dark pit. This is her door. Her history. Her heart. Let's try this one more time. It's not a sweet story by any means. It's a story of betrayal, anger, and hatred. We caused each other pain, but that's the road we traveled. And down that road lies all the answers. Achievement unlocked, reclaim yourself. The fourth door. Whoa! The fifth door. 1099. All right. Let's do this. It had been several days since I left the capital, and I could still see it when I closed my eyes. The people lined up on the Grand Pont, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could still get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. So basically, Hinamizawa. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was the city I had called home for a long time. I didn't know much about where I was heading.
It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, all right then.
The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he had gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. Though that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view... Oh, okay.
From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the time he would acknowledge I had said anything, he had made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes. To pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job. And I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind and were now traveling along a couple worn-down grooves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this?
I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us like the world fading into view after a dream. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care. And it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest? The carriage came to a stop and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out.
Thank you very much. You must be tired of such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for, yes?
But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back onto the carriage and setting off into the forest. Well, that guy's a prick. He seemed to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That was about all I could say, anyway. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here, or for his wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house's windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I... I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and though it seemed to protest my attempts to enter, it still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I got the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn. Not a hint of light. I couldn't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of a long corridor. I pulled it open and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more.
Shouldn't have done that evil voice that tore my throat up.
My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air for a split second, I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond... My chances were slim, I imagined, but if there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth a shot. So I pulled open the drapes. Yes, now we got this again. The next moment, faint but colorful light shone down upon me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It had finally started, it seemed. The different colors of light blended into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... Please, do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Suddenly I heard a voice and I could sense someone else in the room. The man's voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long he came into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stood there, practically blending in with the darkness. Had he been there the whole time? He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. Then again, I could hardly make any detail at all under the light of a single candle. Is this, your mansion?
It is.
Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted.
I suspect you would have preferred if the house were abandoned.
Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could do with some light. That way you could see where you are walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated.
Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are.
How can you see when it's so dark?
I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you are free to leave. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town.
I'm no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please, don't chase me out.
I see. And do you ask this of me, aware of how people refer to this mansion?
They say that a witch lives here.
Not merely a witch.
A cursed witch.
If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction.
You're worried for my well-being? Which or not, my mind is made up. I was sent to this cursed witch's mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. It didn't matter what lived here. I had no choice.
Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real. Very much so. It is not a legend nor a fairy tale. The witch.
The witch's name was Morgana.
Is me.
Whoa. Okay, I know it was like orange a little bit, now it's blue. The little thing is off to the right there.
Yes, that was our first encounter.
It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was rather laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another, and I had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, that was where it all began. Where my history with her
Oh, god damn it! Wait. Am I still speaking through the perspective of Giselle or Misha in my head?
Where my history with her commenced.
Oh! Oh! Oh my god!
The woman had jade eyes, open wide. They glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. She seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying, per se. The rumor said a witch lived in this house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus, said rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter.
Oh, wow! Here, I was thinking you were kind of scary, and it turns out you're actually quite funny.
What?
I never would have guessed you were someone to tell such a ridiculous joke with a straight face.
I wasn't.
You don't look at all like a witch. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see, but you seem to me like a rather handsome man.
The word witch. The word witch has broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch.
I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So you're not a witch?
I don't know what it is, I like that smile though.
To tell you the truth, I didn't know who you might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I can make this work.
What do you...
It's a pleasure to meet you, Master.
Master?
I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof.
I froze the moment the word left her mouth. It rattled around in my skull, shaking up terrible memories that almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? And not even sending someone to bring me back. Just sending someone. To what end? For what purpose had they shipped an Abigail out to this remote mansion? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show on my face.
It was a teeny tiny mistake, and nothing you need to concern yourself with.
What did Mother say about me?
Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much.
Father sent you? That made even less sense. Why would he have... Did Father even know I was here? No, if he had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? And what was her goal in asking to stay here?
Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food? I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are.
Oh my god.
I turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent from that house. There was no way anything good could come of that, and there was no way I could live with someone who had ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up, and leave.
Master?
And so I kept ignoring her.
Master! Master! Ah!
I ignored.
Master!
I ignored her.
Master, what would you like for supper?
Nothing! But failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, and then she gave me a sheepish giggle. I glared at her as she fidgeted uncomfortably.
Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat.
I said I didn't want... What was that sound?
Must you ask? That's not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know.
Huh?
You know, it was a long trip and all I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. I felt like I was some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry.
That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? Thought lightning had struck in the distance.
And would like some supper.
The kitchen is at the far end of the hall on the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it.
Thank you so much! I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. It's rather exciting being in a new place.
Oh my god, my voice doesn't even match for this now. I mean, it never matched, but the voice I had in mind doesn't even match now.
Damn it, that did not go as planned. Oh well, she can do as she pleases. I'll have nothing to do with that.
Oh, Master, are you sure you don't...
No.
Master.
What is it now?
My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And your name, Oh, Master, you...
I actually left the room that time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out.
Oh my god.
Especially considering she had come from that house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her.
Oh. Oh, now it's red again. Are we just going back and forth between the two?
I didn't really understand, Michel, but that was probably because we're still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there. But I was tentatively convinced he wasn't a terrible person.
He didn't do anything to me except say nothing. I did not mean to do that. Except stay away, there we go. Michel meant to spend most of his time in his chambers, which he had been told me to never enter oh, god damn it! I can't English, what the fuck? Which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances. Ugh! So we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hoped we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Okay, so I figured it out. So whenever there's red roses, it's through her perspective. And whenever it switches to blue, it's through Michel's perspective. That is neat. Michel didn't need me to take care of him. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself, and in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for his servant. I hadn't met anyone like him before. Alright then. That meant about all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how his room looked, but the rest of the house was quite, frankly, an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It couldn't be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. And that said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning, in fact I consider myself quite good at it. But because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grime that needed cleaning under the flickering light of a candle. I can't understand how anyone sane can live in this dark. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh god, wouldn't that be something? I can see it now, him sneaking out every night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. Means I'm in trouble. Look at me, Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I am able to get him to warm up to me though, maybe that'll give me a little more room to make some changes. Like opening some windows. No light and no fresh air. No thank you. Anyway, I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. The chair's legs seemed to be uneven, as if wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wondered, they all belonged to him? I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing seeing this many stacks of it in one place. And there were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. I'd spent enough time at his family's home. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests, the exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here, to this remote mansion with a less than savory reputation? Need to be careful to not overstep my bounds. I'm a servant now. A servant. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I'd always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. I couldn't do that here, though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Michel's bad side, I risked getting them thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's got in here. So I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. What? But the strings behind the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa! Because the books on either side tilted back with it. Ah! And the entire road came crashing down on top of me. Ow! Oh, for Cripe's sake. I had fallen off the chair and a downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Seriously? Whoa! What are you doing? What? Suddenly Michel was there looking down at me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a vague trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and... Impressive work. I'm usually better than this! It's just so dark, mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open up some windows, Master. Get some light, some air flowing through here. I never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself. But there's so much dust!
It can't be good for you. I am perfectly healthy. I don't see the problem. Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy. You look like you have something to say. You can make out my face in this darkness? Oh, you know. I wanted to be useful, and cleaning is about all I can do here, so, you know. I was sensing something else, but alright. He let out a sigh, stepped over toward the pile of books, and then he reached his hand down for me. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed out on the floor, but I raised my hand up to take his, only for him to pick up a book instead. You could at least help me up! You have legs. He said casually, returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person. Oh, his perspective. Oh, now she's got a candle. That's neat. So, Master, are all these books yours? Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible on her face, despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a curt nod. Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting them all in here, huh? There's got to be hundreds of books here. You could fill a whole carriage at least. It looks like you've got your own personal library. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overly expressive, rather, overly curious women. Did they not care that they trembled uninvited into another person's personal space? Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? I averted my gaze from hers. I'd receive one roughly every month. Ah, I see. Wait. She turned back toward the shelves. I presume she understood the implications of what I had just said, of the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, and I received only one a month. Giselle felt silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was to my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. I just needed her to stay quiet and keep her nose out of my business. There's more than I thought. I said not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the books served as a record of how long I had been here. 121! What? There are 121 books! 10 years and 1 month! You are counting? I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. What an inscrutable woman. You've been here in the mansion for that long? All by yourself? The truth was, there had been times when I wasn't alone. But Giselle had no need to know that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I'm here by choice. You mean you weren't banished here? Okay, fuck it, I give up. I'm giving her that voice. I'll give this younger version the more white-haired girl's voice, and then I'll stick to this rather when I want to speak through the perspective of the old maid, aka her. Basically an older version. No restraint, this woman. No. I came here of my own volition. I didn't care enough to elaborate, though. Picking another book up off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was a gaudily decorated tome. That's a very fancy book, isn't it? But apparently Giselle was unable to take a hint. What's it about? I let out a sigh and opened to no page in particular, sticking the book out toward her. She was a servant and a woman. There was no way she could read. That is sexist! But considering the time period, I can understand that. Let's see here. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce over sour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Oh god.
Sounds like a Lord's diary.
Ugh, I can't keep consistent voices! Fuck!
You can read. I was caught slightly off guard. It was rare for a noble woman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be?
I had someone to teach me. So is this book any interesting?
It's dull, worthless tripe. I can't imagine why anyone thought it was worth binding.
Tough crowd. But it's not very often you get to see a Lord's diary. I'm rather curious what kind of things he's griped about.
Lord or king, what value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book, just emotions, unsightly scribbles. And there was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. If you want to read it, be my guest.
That wasn't my intention, but alright. Once I've got the whole mansion cleaned, I'll read it.
I told you, you don't have to clean.
Oh, I've got an idea, Master. If you're interested, maybe we could read together.
Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless tripe.
Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. And I'm sure there are some books here you would enjoy, Master.
You're wasting your time. The suspicion and restraint budding between us was trite and insignificant at that point. She was still smiling after all. If I had been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I wouldn't have ended up hurting her.
Okay, that's actually where I'm gonna have to end it, believe it or not. I was expecting one of those little chapter breaks, but I guess not. Wow, we've really made our way across here. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna have to end it. Oh my god! Rational, irrational. Guessing the girl's rational and he's irrational. Oh my god. Oh my god, if I would have ignored any of those other things, I bet you I would not have been able to reclaim my old self. Oh my god, this is a good novel! Ah! Oh my god, I can't wait. Oh my god, I have to wait a week before I can record more. No! Fuck! Ugh, I can't. Ugh. Okay. Calm down. Calm down. I am not calm. This is a fantastic novel, and I'm friggin' loving it. Oh! Now I'm finally getting the truth! Oh my god! This is so... I'm gonna have a mild stroke before I actually end this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right now before I have a stroke. So if you guys like this, be sure to let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. And yes, we're doing a completionist thing. We're gonna be checking out all the other options. Not trying to see what happens if I don't reclaim myself, or what happens if I don't make her remember. I need to see both of those options, honestly. Anyway, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Why did I just repeat my outro?